Here we will be looking at the kidney, the suprarenal gland and the ureters. Now here we can see the suprarenal gland present over here. The suprarenal gland is present on the right side as well as on the left side. The suprarenal gland on the right side is pyramidal in shape, consisting of an apex, a base, medial border, lateral border, anterior surface and a posterior surface. Whereas on the left side it is crescentric in nature with the concave margin on the lobe of the kidney, on the upper pole of the kidney. It also consists of an upper part or the upper pole, a lower pole, anterior surface, posterior surface, the medial border and the lateral border. Here I want to show you the arterial supply of the adrenal gland. Now the adrenal gland is supplied by 3 arteries. You can see over here, this is the renal artery. Okay, this is the renal artery. The renal artery, the branch that you can see over here, this is the inferior suprarenal artery. The second branch that you can see over here, this is the middle suprarenal artery, which is a direct branch coming from the abdominal aorta. Here you can see the abdominal aorta. So this is the medial suprarenal artery. And here we have the inferior phrenic artery, which is also a branch of the aorta. While passing upwards, this inferior phrenic artery will give branches which will be known as the superior suprarenal artery. Although it is supplied by 3 different arteries, the adrenal gland has only one vein, which you can see over here, the suprarenal vein, which is emerging from the lower pole on the left side. On the right side, it will be emerging from the apex. The hilum is present on the apex on the right side, whereas here the hilum is present on the lower pole. Here you can see this is the suprarenal vein draining into the left renal vein. Here you can see this is the left renal vein. I've cut from the inferior vena cava. This is the left renal vein. Here we have the kidney. The demonstration of kidney has already been taught. I will put the link in the description box. Here you can see I have reflected the fascias, which is basically the perirenal fascia, the renal fascia and the pararenal fascia, the fibrous capsule being attached to the kidney itself. We can see the various branches. These are the renal vein. Here in this specific cadaver, we have also found an accessory renal artery. Here we see this is the main renal artery arising from the abdominal aorta. Just beneath this, we also have the accessory renal artery, which is going towards the lower part of the kidney. This is present in approximately 30% of the population. Okay, now let's look at the ureter. Now, as we all know, the nitrogenous waste which are present in the kidney will be eliminated out with the help of the ureter. Now, let me first show you on this side. If you can see over here, this is the ureter. The ureter is approximately 3 millimeters in diameter and 25 centimeters in length, arising from the posterior part of the hilum of the kidney and will go downwards. This ureter consists of 3 parts. The first part is known as the pelvis or the pelvis part, the renal pelvis. The second part is the abdominal part, and the third part is going to be the pelvic part. So the renal pelvis part, the abdominal part and the pelvic part. Now a question arises, up to how much length or up to how much distance is the renal pelvis formed? The renal pelvis converts into the ureter at the lower border or the lower pole of the kidneys. So up till here, this is the renal pelvis. From the lower pole of the kidney, the ureter continues downwards and crosses the external. We can see the common iliac arteries. These are the common iliac arteries. Here we can see the commencement of the external iliac artery. So from the lower pole of the kidney up till the external iliac artery, this is known as the abdominal part of the ureter. And From the external iliac artery up till the opening into the urinary bladder, this is going to be the pelvic part of the ureter. Now in the whole length, we have three constrictions which are present at one. We have three constrictions which are present. The first constriction is present at the pelvi-ureteric junction, the point where renal pelvis continues as a ureter. So the first constriction will be over here at the lower pole of the kidney. The second constriction is present over here, when the ureter crosses the external iliac artery, and the third constriction will be when the ureter enters the urinary bladder. So these are the three constrictions of the ureter. Now on this specific cadaver, on the left side, if you can see, we have found two different ureters. So this is a duplex system. Here you can see we have two ureters. You can see one ureter present over here and the other one is present over here. Both are entering into the pelvis. This one is entering into the hilum, whereas this one is entering into the lower part. Anterior to the ureter, we have the gonadal vessels. You can see the anterior relation of the pelvis. Here on the abdominal part, we have the gonadal vessels. So since this is a female cadaver, this is going to be the ovarian artery and the ovarian vessels, which will ultimately drain into the renal vessels. You can see over here, it is draining into the renal vessels. It is draining into the renal vein. Here I have cut from the inferior vena cava the ovarian vessels. Now the posterior relation, what we can see over here is, this is the psoas major muscle, and here you can see the genitofemoral nerve, which is piercing the substance of the psoas major muscle. This is the genitofemoral nerve. Now, how will you differentiate between the ureter and the gonadal vessels, because they are present quite close to one another? So one basic answer, it can be, the first one is the pulsating nature of the ureter, and the second answer is the presence of a venous plexus, the presence of this venous plexus in the ureter. So these are the 2 points from which we can differentiate between the ureter and the gonadal vessels. So usually we have only one, but in this cadaver we have found two different ureters. So this is all for the lecture. The detailed lecture of the ureter is also been already uploaded, and I will add the link in the description box.